And today we're going to talk about SAFe in ValueEdge, how we digitize the entire framework of SAFe into ValueEdge. So Victoria.
Yes, thank you, Oren. I'm going to start with ValueEdge strategy. But before I go there, to show the alignment of our ValueEdge solution and its various modules with the SAFe diagram, I just want to point out that in SAFe 6.0, we see a few changes that make our solution even more aligned with the SAFe methodology because SAFe 6.0 has a huge focus on value stream management. Value stream management became the core of SAFe 6.0. So we highlighted here in red, the full view of value stream. SAFe calls it the business agility aspect. The emphasis on operational value streams, on portfolio flows, the value stream management, here as the main way to manage the portfolio of epics and enablers. And on the right side, don't forget reinforced emphasis on objectives and key results on the OKR framework, on road mapping capabilities, and last but definitely not least, the AI capabilities. So we're going to touch on all of those in the demo. But let me start with the ValueEdge strategy module at the very top. ValueEdge strategy is the module that defines the value streams, either as operational value streams or development value streams that will be later managed in ValueEdge Agile. And it's in charge of all the portfolio level capabilities, including road mapping. By the way, our solution, the ValueEdge solution, is being adopted as the software development solution in OpenText, starting with road mapping, continuing with the agile execution, but first and foremost, aligning with the strategy of the organization. This is a very large size solution. We're talking about over 400 products, so over 400 roadmaps hosted in our solution, and more than 4,000 developers. So let's continue on.
And that's in addition to our many customers that are
external
using it
customers,
day in, day out. Yeah.
Right. But, one of the questions was, what does OpenText mean to the ValueEdge solution? It means really large scale adoption internally with absolutely no hesitation right away. So why don't you talk about the other modules in ValueEdge, Oren, because you're more familiar with them.
Absolutely. So after we define our strategies and our portfolios and roadmaps, we want to break them down into agile backlog, scaled agile backlog, starting from the solution, our shared space as a solution. And in each workspace, we have the agile programs. We can break it down into the various programs working in parallel, but still have the flexibility to manage their own backlogs separately while sharing very important assets such as defects, tests, etc. Basically, managing the value stream, digital value streams, and providing cross-solution and program reporting, which is, as Victoria mentioned, a very important part here at the right side. Agile backlog management, prioritization of our agile backlogs, planning of our delivery value streams, and going down to the team level where we'll manage our team capacity, team backlog, Kanban boards, ceremonies, etc. Then we go to the ValueEdge release module where we'll do our art planning, whether releases, milestones, sprints, etc. And also release process management, where we'll plan our release process. We'll identify and define the stages that needs to take place before or towards a successful release, with quality gates that will help us determine whether we are ready to progress to the next stage in our release process or not. And everything is connected, like in our DNA of quality and the center for everything that we do. We want to make sure that everything that we do is covered by high quality. So we have the ValueEdge quality module that will provide us a one stop shop for quality management, including manual testing, including automation on demand test, integration with the CI pipelines, where our automation will provide additional coverage on top of the traditional manual testing, and with the additional parts in ValueEdge, and these are actually additional two additional modules in the platform. That's ValueEdge functional testing and ValueEdge performance testing that will complete the coverage of our of quality on top of the scaled agile backlogs. And last but not least, as Victoria mentioned, the ValueEdge Insights module that will provide us a wide range of dashboards and widgets that will help us focus on the real problems, see the bigger picture in a nice dashboard that will tell us exactly where we stand, where the risks are, etc. And on top of this dashboard, and on top of everything that we're doing in ValueEdge, we have lately added a lot of AI thought into the reporting and across the product that will help us be much more efficient in our innovation work, rather than drilling down into problems that AI can do for us. In addition, generative AI will help us generate assets into the work process, like generating tests, generating user stories based on currently defined features. So I'll hand it over back to you, Victoria, to demonstrate how we do our strategy planning, how we manage our operational value streams.
Thank you, Oren. So I want to point out again that what I'm going to focus on now in the beginning is the portfolio layer that we're looking at here in the SAFe solution. So there are two main aspects that we're focusing on. The value stream alignment, and then the general portfolio management with lean portfolio management, the definition of strategic themes, portfolio vision, OKR framework, portfolio backlog management, investment guardrails. So there's every single icon that you look at the portfolio layer, we digitize in our solution. And our solution comprised into ValueEdge is the ValueEdge strategy module. But if you are working with an organization that is, like most organizations are today, bimodal, hybrid organization, where you also deal with traditional waterfall project management, program management, time management, you can actually leverage the entire project and portfolio management product, because everything at the portfolio level that is relevant to SAFe is common code. So you may use ValueEdge strategy, and thank you, Oren, for switching to this slide. You may use ValueEdge strategy if you have the digital product use case, where the teams are working in Agile and all you care about are portfolio epics and features and user stories, etc. But if your teams, if in the organization you also have waterfall projects that need to be aligned under the same strategy, then you can leverage the full PPM, because, as I said, everything you see carved out here at the top, portfolio epic management, alignment with SAFe, what if analysis, financial management for portfolio epics, etc. This is common code between the two solutions. And with that, let me actually move into the demo and share with you how we actually use ValueEdge as our own solution to build ValueEdge. So what I'm sharing right here, maybe I should start with the top. So if you take a look at the global menu, this is ValueEdge strategy. In the corporate strategy tab, we define the global strategic themes at the corporate level. In the portfolio management tab, where I am now, we actually apply that strategy to various portfolios in the organization, and we manage our backlogs. So you're looking here, first of all, at two types of portfolios in this portfolio hierarchy. The strategic portfolio type, which is used to map either large business units or in this case, an operational value stream. ValueEdge is an operational value stream. And then the product portfolio type, which is used to map development value streams or product. We're looking here at the various modules of ValueEdge itself. So let's focus on one of them. Let's say that we're going to the top level, the ADM level portfolio. This is a strategic portfolio. Out of the box, ValueEdge strategy provides a number of portlets that are relevant to the persona working at this level. It would be a VP of products, an EPMO persona. One of the portlets is the Sankey diagram that shows the alignment between various products and the strategic themes of the organization. So here on the left, you have the modules of the ValueEdge platform. On the right, you have various strategic investments. For instance, if you look at the strategy module, it basically is aligned with investments in the FedRAMP certification, investments in the SPM narrative, building SPM capabilities. Value stream management is aligned with the CXO dashboard, or further up with other strategic themes like AI, which we mentioned before. And the thickness of these lines of this alignment is actually showing you the effort in story points. But there are other widgets that are important to at that level, like the perceived value versus the forecast cost. What is the total perceived value of such a large portfolio? What are the forecast investments by products? What are the revenue trends, etc. Now, if we move down to a different level, we're going to see, let's say that we move to a product portfolio. The out-of-the-box overview will show us widgets or portlets that are meaningful to that level. Like, for instance, here, this graph, the product map, will show you the various product portfolio epics that the size of this bubble shows you the effort necessary to implement that epic. The color shows you the alignment with various strategic themes. But for each of these epics, you have an indication of the risk and the value associated with them. As a product manager, just by looking at this widget, you can tell right away which epics you're going to start investing in, the low-hanging fruits. And then you have a bunch of other portlets that will show you the investment, the various epics by investment guardrails, by strategic theme, etc. So since we're talking about strategy, let's start with the strategy. In ValueEdge strategy, we define the very robust OKR framework. So we are talking here about strategic themes that you see here on the left, each associated with a color. For each strategic theme, you're going to have a number of business goals that are used to materialize that strategy. And you know about these business goals, what their status is, what's the indication currently, how the KPIs that measure these business goals has tracked over time, who's in charge of them. Also, in this last column, you should see the various epics contributing to this particular strategic theme. Very important, in the strategy map, you'll also see how various products and portfolios in the organization inherit the strategy from the top level. So let's take a look at ValueEdge as a platform. You'll see that Accelerate SaaS Business is an ADM level, a business unit level strategy that is then inherited by ValueEdge as a platform. And then from ValueEdge is inherited by different modules within ValueEdge, like VSM or the strategy module. So why this is important is not just for visibility, but also because we can aggregate up this hierarchical tree, the effort alignment of various products with the strategic themes in the organization. And not only that, we can aggregate up the KPI impact of various epics in the products in the organization. towards the global business goals at the top level of the organization, at the business unit or even enterprise level. And I will talk about soon. So now let's take a look at the contents. And for that, I'm going to move into one of the modules. Let's take a look at the strategy module. What we'll see here is one of the 4 views that are available out of the box to manage your backlog of epics. This is the list view. You see all the aspects associated with the epics. Obviously, you can customize by choosing the attributes, the fields that you show in this view. You can filter and group in many levels of grouping and filtering. But basically, you have all the information of your fingertips. What is the strategic theme? What is the status of each of these epics? What Agile entity is associated with them in the ValueEdge Agile module? What is the value rating? So you can rank them versus risk rating, etc. Another very important view here is the Kanban view. And by the way, this Kanban can be customized in terms of what you show on columns and what you show on swim lanes. In this case, the columns are the status that each of the epics is in, and the swim lanes are strategic themes. So if we go down, we'll see here the Kanban cards in associated with the FedRAMP certification strategic theme. In the funnel, we have a number of epics. If we want to move them over through the approval process, we'll move them into reviewing, analyzing, portfolio backlog, and when they reach the implementation stage, have been approved for implementation, then they'll be automatically synchronized into Octane. And the roadmap view shows you all of these epics on a timeline. Each of them, the colorization will show you the alignment with the strategy. So now that we looked at these epics, let me point out that each of these epics is literally digitizing the SAFe methodology, and we can rank them or prioritize them based on value and risk ratings. But there's also a very powerful method for planning our roadmap, and that is what-if analysis. And here we have one example of a scenario. In what-if analysis, we create and compare scenarios to decide which one is best fitted for our needs. It's a very nice piece of functionality where not only do we have the view of the content of the scenario, like multiple epics here represented as cards, but we have a view of the constraints. And in this particular case, I'm looking at team capacity remaining over the various periods that we're planning over. We can define custom capacity. For instance, we might want to show capacity, team capacity, and feature throughput, the number of features that are being delivered, et cetera, et cetera. And we also have in the scenario, what-if analysis scenario, an area where we can include widgets. So depending on how we take epics out of the planning scenario or put them back in, depending on how we move them across the timeline, because some of them have dependencies on other epics, as you can see here, and we may need to move them to a different timeline. Depending on this, we're going to see right away all of this reflected in the widgets at the top. So for instance, if we want the value forecast to be delivered in various quarters or the cost forecast, it will be updated dynamically as we move these epics around. Also, strategic theme colorization, you can see that these epics will continuing. That's the ripped effect here. They will continue in the next release, etc., etc. So now that we talked about the what-if analysis available for comparing scenarios with or without dependencies. And by the way, once we are happy with one scenario, we can apply, press the apply button, and the scenario every date will be updated with this particular scenario start and end date. We can export this scenario and share it with others in the organization. But let's go back to the epics just to show you how exactly we digitized the safe requirements for an epic. And again, I'm going to look this time at one particular epic in the ValueEdge strategy module because it is the epic that very nicely embodies all these capabilities. I was talking about digitization. So first of all, you have all the information associated with this epic. You have the business case details and hypotheses to fill in. You have the value, perceived value of the epic and the cost in story points. The value is obtained from the value ratings and risk ratings. So it's basically value rating minus risk rating. But you also have other information, like these are the steps of the workflow for the epics, and this is definitely inspired by SAFE. You have the strategic information about the epic. So here you can choose the strategic theme that the epic is aligned with, and more so, you can choose the KPIs that these epics will be impacted, the value and the time that this epic will impact the KPI. So with all of these in mind, one important piece of information is the Agile integration information for this particular epic, because that will tell us what corresponding epic we have in ValueEdge Agile. But for that, I will go to, allow me to go to a different module in ValueEdge because I picked the wrong one. So what I was looking for actually is the FedRAMP certification in the value stream management module. Here it is. So FedRAMP certification. And if I go to its Agile entity ID and I click on it, this will going to take me straight to ValueEdge Agile, where I see the same epic. And here, why don't you go ahead and talk about it, Oren?
Yeah. So thank you, Victoria. Let me start from where you stopped. All I need to do in order to really take it to the R&D or to the development part of it, I'll just need to move in the ValueEdge platform from portfolio management to my backlog management module. And here, I'm going to see all epics in the system, including this one. VSM FedRAMP, you can see it here. It is part of our epics module. And if I drill down to this epic, I'll be able to see the breakdown of this epic that we want to make into a reality. We have a strategy of making ourselves FedRAMP approved and or compliant. And here is a list of features. And one of the features is a bucket for one of the teams to work on. Let's take this one. This is Shirley's team backlog item in the format of a feature. And if I drill down to this specific feature on the team, I'll be able to see that we have a description, we have an owner, we have everything that is related, commenting, etc. And now we can drill down and break the feature down into backlog items. So we can see that the team has already broken it down to 9 different user stories. Each user story will have some details inside. We will have the development tab here, which will show us all the code commits. We can see that already there are 10 code commits related to these user stories that have implemented those user stories. We'll be able to see the various branches and pull requests related to those code commits. And if I move to the test tab, I'll be able to see that our tests that are already planned, or even some of them have been run at least once. We can see there is a one run for those manual tests. There is also a Gherkin test in a BDD or Gherkin language. So we have a full coverage of tests on this feature that, as you remember, coming from a strategic epic. Now, so we have done all the way down from the epic to the feature to the user stories to the covering tests. Now, I would want to take us one level up back to the feature list. And here, as we said, we digitized all the components of SAFe, starting from the large platform down to, or from the large, strategies down to the implementation itself. So as a team, I would want to be able to rank my features in the backlog, but I would also want to be able to, as part of the teamwork, to control the progress of my features. So I have those widgets that will help me understand where am I in terms of implementation, where am I in terms of story points implemented versus the story points that were planned for the feature. But I would also want to understand where I am in terms of value stream management waste time. And here you can see a great example of a feature where the system identified by predefined rules that there are two spots that time was wasted. You can see one waste time here, and then the other waste time here, highlighted by the red line. So this is exactly how we manage. We can, of course, present this in a dashboard on how we progress with cycle time, flow time, wasted time in our list. I'll try to show that in a few moments. But here we can, in a team level, we can drill down into specific features and see where and when and how time was wasted, and hopefully that will be able to improve. Another very interesting aspect of the backlog management work is the ability to predict when a feature is going to end. So if we are today, we record this session early December 2023, you can see that here is where we are. These are features that are under development. As a product manager, I would want to see when the system can predict the feature would end. So if I promise the feature to the market, to a certain customer, for a certain agenda, certain milestone in my release train, during my release train, I would want to be able to see and when the feature is going to deliver. And maybe even more importantly is if I have a risk of features that would not be delivered on time. And for that, AI comes to help us with machine learning that learns the entire history of features and teams and epics and backlogs in my team. So the AI engine of ValueEdge will be able to collect all this information and tell us something meaningful about our current features under development. And for example, on this feature, it will tell us, hey, you have a risk because the milestone planned for this feature is planned for here. We predict, or the algorithm would predict, that the earliest time to end the feature is later than planned, and I'll get a red flag here. Or if my expected end time is really planned before the milestone, then I'll get a neutral flag that says everything is okay. It looks like you're going to make it on time. Or if it's on the edge, I'll get a yellow flag. I don't think I have a great example here. Here is an example. So this is the predicted end time is a little bit behind the planned milestone, but still close enough, so I do have some chance to reach the milestone with this feature. Now, after we took care about the Agile project as a whole, now let's drill down a little bit into the Agile program. So I'm selecting the team backlog module in ValueEdge, and here you'll be able to see that I can have a variety of programs that can run in parallel. So I can assign work items to specific programs. We have several programs here that are running in parallel. Each program will have the liberty to run their own features and timelines, etc. And still there can be dependencies between items, and since they're serving all under the same project, under the same work environment, they'll be able to share defect, they'll be able to share test, and still to manage
their backlog in separate programs. We can see here several programs. Each programs will have its own tickets, own features that would work on their own pace, on their own standards, separate from one another. But still, if there are dependencies between items here and one program and items on another program, we'll be able to get visibility into these dependencies. And as I said, they're able to share assets like tests, defects, etc.
Now let's take a quick look about the bottom line of our work. We would love to have some dashboard that will highlight for us the areas where we need to take attention, where we need to improve. And I'm going to look at the dashboard so I can get some statistical summaries like average defect per feature or waste days per feature or average feature cycle time. And of course, with the predefined KPIs coloring, I can see where I stand, or some interesting part, which is the heat map that will tell us across the various application modules, across the functional areas in my application, where are, as of today, the concern areas. So we can see that we have two large areas in terms of content that are in concern. There are some probably high severity defects here in this area, or there is some test coverage issues that will define this area is as red. So we can always know whether our safe program, safe solution, safe project is under risk. And our ValueEdge Academy channel, you'll be able to see multiple demos of the dashboards. I would not get into all the dashboard options here, but one thing that I do want to highlight here is a little bit about our new AI capabilities. So as mentioned, we can see how our flow time goes, etc. But I want to take one quick example of how AI helps us manage our scaled backlog. So with hundreds or even thousands of defects, sometimes we want to focus on those defects that we did not catch in our test lab, but eventually escaped and identified in a production environment coming from the end user, unfortunately. And the system has identified in this example environment like more than 500 escaping defects. So this is describing the problem. It still doesn't tell me how to solve the problem or what can cause the problem. So one option would be a manual drill down into those 500 items, going into the most relevant properties and data points over each of those 522 escaping defects. The alternative is just let AI do the work for me and drill down into the correlations between those items and tell me something meaningful about how these items are correlated to specific properties. So in this example, we can see that 23% of the problem can be explained by the application modules. Another 22% of the cases can be well explained by the fact that some items are longer in a certain phase, which we could not even imagine that maybe this correlation between days in phase and the fact that a defect was escaping and revealed by the customer in a production environment. But let me drill down just one more step into the application modules and show you that the AI engine has identified module number 16 as the highest correlation, and that can explain up to 14.69% of the cases, which means that if I invest more quality effort on this application module, I am likely to prevent future occurrences of escaping defects. So based on AI, I just can save a lot of time of research, and I can get easily to the root cause of the problems. One more thing that I wanted to share here is really about is really about testing capabilities. We talked about manual testing. We talked about automation. We talked about the functional test and performance test coverage that we have here. I want to take one moment also to share about pipelines. So in the pipelines module, we can get a full coverage by integrating with our continuous integration environment and pipelines. So in our hierarchies of jobs, we'll get the relevant test that just ran, and those tests that failed, I'll get all the list of tests. I'll be able to manage those tests. We won't get into that into detail, just to show you how you can get into full automation coverage with pipelines, and with the overview tab, you'll even be able to take a holistic view about the automation test and drill down into problematic tests, like tests that are continuously skipped or that are continuously unstable tests in the context of the pipeline. And as said, eventually you'll be able to see this as a coverage to your backlog or to your Agile backlog in the backlog module or in dashboard. So all in all, we started with a corporate strategy, with a portfolio and value stream management. We broke down into the backlog or the team backlog management. We ended up with quality and pipelines, and eventually we went on to the dashboard, including our AI root analysis, root cause analysis, test generation based on our very, very advanced and exciting AI capabilities that we started bringing possibly before any other vendor, and we hope to bring a lot more around this in the coming 12 months. Thanks for listening. We want to make sure that everyone is aware of our safe compatibility. As Victoria mentioned, we are fully aligned with the safe as we digitized basically each and every part of the safe framework, and now with version 6 of safe, but we're going to align to any new version of safe and make sure that the solution is fully compliant. So if anyone wants to implement the safe methodology, ValueEdge is the best solution and the right solution for large enterprises using safe. Thanks for listening, and goodbye.